Hey Virgo, let's see what's going on in your love life. We're here for your weekly tarot love reading for October 20th through to October 26th. This is for Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, and of course for any of you lovely cross watchers dealing with a Virgo romantically. Now I do always like to remind you, Virgo, these are general readings. May or may not resonate, that's totally okay. You're more than welcome to take what works and leave the rest. So we're jumping right into it today, my loves, and we're gonna see what could be coming toward Virgo this week when it comes to love. First message coming out today says, it was my fault, but I blamed you. Great. We're starting out with some immature energy this week. I am obviously being sarcastic here, Virgo. Let's take a look. Okay. Obviously, something has gone down between you and whoever you're involved with romantically. Now, instead of doing the mature thing and taking responsibility, it looks like something happened between the two of you and your person put all of the blame onto you. So instead of taking responsibility for their actions, they deflected that and they made it seem like you were the bad guy. Great, let's see where it goes. Tell me more. I look for you everywhere. Well, maybe you shouldn't mess everything up then. Okay, so obviously they are thinking of you, wondering about you, wondering what you're up to. To me, sometimes I get a little sassy, Virgo. Like sometimes I get the energy and I'm like, you know what? That's your own fault. Like if you wanted to be with Virgo, then maybe you should have acted a bit more maturely in how you approached the situation. So it's kind of this thing where it's like they messed up, but yet they're longing for you and they're wishing they could be with you. And it's like, well, if you wanted to be with Virgo, then maybe take responsibility for your behavior, take accountability for what you did, instead of just like blaming Virgo and then sitting back and just wishing things would be different without taking any action. Oh, okay. Tell me more about what could be coming toward Virgo. I'm so attracted to you. That's great. I'm sassy today, Virgo. I was gonna say, I don't like this. This is my opinion. This energy feels messy to me, so I'm gonna explain why. With this card, talking about attraction, here's what I think's going on. I think you're probably dealing with somebody where the chemistry is hot and heavy between the two of you. The sparks are flying. That can be very addictive, okay? You know that feeling when you're very attracted to somebody and it's kind of like the attraction almost becomes a little bit like a drug. It's like you're intoxicated by that person. What happens is when I think there's that level of attraction, sometimes we get so intoxicated by it that we kind of ignore other issues or potential red flags within the connection. And I wonder, and I say this with love, because I think a lot of us have been there at one point or another, if maybe there's this really strong attraction that has kind of made you look the other way from some of the potential issues within the connection. Because I gotta keep it real with you, Virgo. I do think this person is very attracted to you. I don't dispute that, but I'm sorry, this is a big problem. This tells me that you're dealing with somebody who probably has a lot of growing up to do in terms of how they handle adult romantic relationships, right? Now, could they grow up and start to be more mature? Of course, people can always change if they want to, but I think the challenge here is that you're probably stuck in a bit of a messy dynamic where like the chemistry is insane, the attraction is insane between the two of you, but then your person does all this immature shit that like messes up the relationship and you end up in this very confusing cycle where you probably make up and the physical side of things is really good when you guys make up and it feels really good in the moment, but then the next week they do something super immature. So I kind of feel like there's something going on this week that's like highlighting this potential pattern where maybe at the start of this week you guys are not really talking because, you know, they pushed you away, they blamed you, now you're frustrated and they're just sitting back. And then, you know, middle of the week, you guys end up meeting up, hooking up, whatever. And it's kind of like this up and down energy where it's like one day you're so frustrated because they're being super immature, but then they kind of pull you back in with the crazy chemistry, right? So this is interesting, you guys. Here's what we're gonna do for the rest of the reading. We're gonna look at them, we're gonna look at you. So we're gonna look at their overall energy this week, what they might be feeling, what they might be doing. We'll look at the same thing for you, Virgo, and then we'll look at the potential outcomes. So let's just kind of see where this takes us. Tell me about this person who's here for Virgo this week, please. Interesting, okay. I don't know, I'm getting a weird vibe, you guys, but this generally is a nice card. So Four of Wands is usually a really, really, really nice card to get in a love reading. Usually I'm super excited when I get this energy. It's not as exciting, if I'm being honest, when we've had some really problematic overall energy. Because I'm going to tell you what came to mind. This can be the card of marriage and commitment. And what I sometimes see happen is that when you're dealing with somebody who messes up and they're not acting in a mature, grown-up way, sometimes they come back and they try to fix things, but the way that they do it is a little bit odd and disconnected from the situation. So it's like maybe you guys have some really big problems in your relationship and there's lots of stuff going on, lots of challenges. And then your person decides to come in this week and is like, you know what would fix all these problems? Let's move in together. You know what would fix all these problems? Let's get married. Like it feels to me, they might suggest something that just seems completely out of proportion to what's actually going on. It's like if you guys have been in a bit of a tough cycle and you're trying to figure out the dynamic in your relationship and they're acting immature and you're frustrated, and then they come in and they're like, you know what would really solve this? Let's get married. Like that doesn't feel reasonable, if I'm being quite honest with you, Virgo, because it's like, I think maybe there's a middle step they're missing, which is where the two of you like sort out your relationship and figure out these issues. I'm just getting an immature energy. It's like they come in and they make you this promise and it's like, I don't want you to come in and ask me to marry you. That doesn't make sense right now. Our relationship isn't really in a good place. I would actually like it if you would just start by taking responsibility for your actions. That would be the next reasonable step. And then if you're able to do that, we can see how it goes. Anyway, let me know if that connects, Virgo. Tell me more, please, about this person's energy, the Queen of Wands. I mean, we're definitely getting the fire, the passion, the attraction. I'm getting a little bit of a smooth talker energy. I think this person comes across very confident. And I get the vibe here, Virgo, like when you talk to this person, you might go in wanting to say one thing, and then by the end of the conversation, they've kind of like talked you around at the end, and then you end up apologizing. Have you ever had this happen where it's like you're with somebody and they do something wrong, but they're such a smooth talker and they're such a good deflector that by the end of it, you're like apologizing to them and then you're like shaking your head wondering like, what the heck happened? Like I went in with this plan of what I wanted to say and then they kind of talked me in circles and now at the end, I'm apologizing to them. Like, how did we get there? Okay, tell me more, please, about this person's energy this week, please. The Lovers, okay. Interesting. I'm getting a lot around deflecting, excuses. What came to mind right away when I pulled this card, because I read the tarot intuitively, you guys, what came to mind was somebody going to you and being like, but you love me though, right, Virgo? Right? Like you love me, right? We love each other. We got this crazy chemistry, so it's good, right? Like, of course we have issues. Every relationship has issues. And so it's like, they're using their feelings and the feelings that the two of you have for each other as an excuse almost to not deal with the issues. Because it's like, they could even say something like, love conquers all, right, Virgo? So like, can't you just get over what happened? Like, can't you just move on from it because love conquers everything, right? So this issue doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter that I blamed you. Like, can't you just forgive me? Like, if you really loved me, wouldn't you just forgive me? I'm getting weird vibes, you guys. Like, it's a gaslighting type of energy. Okay, let's see what they could be feeling this week. Let's keep going. 5 of Cups. I worry for you, Virgo, that this person has the potential to keep letting you down with the 5 of Cups. That is the card of disappointment. I think they know they've disappointed you, but like, I don't think they really do anything about it. And I think they have the potential to keep disappointing you until they learn to start growing up and taking accountability, or you might just decide to walk away. That's also an option. You might look at this and be like, yeah, I love them, but like they are not grown up and I don't want to go down this path. It's like they're too immature for me. Tell me more about what they could be feeling. The 3 of Wands. I mean, look, 5 of Cups is like disappointment. 3 of Wands is about a future together. To me, this is saying they have the potential to disappoint you in terms of the long term. Sorry, right? Like they might make you a lot of big promises. Are they going to follow through? Not necessarily. Tell me more about what they could be feeling. What is this? The Knight of Pentacles, okay? I'm also getting the message speeding up and then hitting the brakes, okay? So what's coming to mind this week is that they might do something like with that 4 of Wands where they come in with this big declaration saying, I want to be with you. I want to work on things. I want to I want to move in, I want to marry you. I'm chuckling because those are like, as standalones, those are nice things. You know, usually we do want to move in with someone eventually. We do, not everyone wants marriage, but you want commitment, whatever that looks like. But it has to make sense for where the relationship is at. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, those are not bad things. Those are things we usually want, but the timing has to be right and the relationship has to be in a good place. So if your person is suggesting that when you're not in a good place, it's like, that's not the next step. And I kind of feel like they might come in with all these big promises and it feels like everything's heating up and they're like, okay, let's move things forward. Let's work on the issues. Let's deal with it. But then the Knight of Pentacles suggests a slowdown. So it's like things pick up speed, but then they slow down. And by the end of the week, you're like, you know, I thought there was this excitement and this momentum in the connection, and now I feel them kind of slowing down again and things not really going anywhere. Be prepared for that potential. What actions could they be taking? Six of Wands. I gotta say, you guys, it almost feels to me a little bit like your person lives in a bit of a fantasy land. Like they could legit be kind of delusional here. Like not like crazy delusional, but like maybe they're just like, no, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And because this is somebody who, my sense here, again, this card speaks volumes to me, Virgo. My sense is that your person doesn't like to deal with conflict, doesn't like to have uncomfortable conversations, doesn't like to get in there and hash things out. And so their approach is like, let's just pretend everything's fine. Let's pretend everything's happy. It's not like malicious even. It just feels like disconnected. Like they don't have the maturity to deal with things head on. So they're like, okay, so I'm just going to pretend everything's okay and everything's going to be fine with me and Virgo. Oh, what is this? Hold on. We got cards flying. Ace of Swords. Interesting. That's fascinating. I mean, the Ace of Swords indicates a huge wake-up call. That's fascinating. Let's see what follows the Ace of Swords, please. What other actions could they be taking? The King of Pentacles. It's fascinating, you guys. I mean, this is kind of giving the vibe that maybe they have a wake-up call and things do a 180. There's a complete turnaround, a huge turnaround in the situation. It's, I think, I'm like, what's throwing me off here? It almost feels like it's going to be such a shift. Like this week could be so fascinating, Virgo, because I feel like maybe later in the week, they do a big turnaround and they're like, I've had this wake up call. I now want to be the steady, stable partner. So maybe they do turn things around and start to see things clearly with the Ace of Swords. They have this wake up call where they're like, I need to step it up or I could lose Virgo. It feels very fast though. Like there's just something that's sitting a little bit weird. And it's, I don't know, I'm getting the message saying all the right things, but not necessarily following through. So I guess my advice here, because like I said, everybody can change, right? So maybe your person is super immature right now, but they have a wake-up call, they realize they want to be better for you and they work on it. That can definitely happen, right? I think that this week, their energy feels like it's coming towards you and they're just kind of like, everything's fine, like everything's good, like, you know, we're going to be fine, we're going to have this future. I think I'm getting like a lot of talking energy. And I think the advice that I see here would be, okay, you can listen and they can obviously say what they want to say and they can promise what they want to promise. What are their actions suggesting, right? Because we did also see the potential for like big energy of them wanting to move things forward, also coupled with a slowing down energy. So it feels chaotic. I think that's what my issue is here, is that there are some energies that feel generally like they could be positive. Like they're going to have a wake-up call. They're going to reach out to you. They're going to tell you they love you. They're going to be like, everything's fine. Let's be together. And that's like good generally. But then there's also energy of like disappointment, slowing things down. Like, I just think that the energy doesn't feel super grounded to me, but I do think your person is trying to present the illusion of the energy being very grounded. I don't know. This person might do really well in their job. I'm going to say that. Like, I'm getting the energy of a salesperson. Does your person work in sales? You know, somebody who's really good at kind of like bullshitting and they're very charming. And like, so they're always kind of like saying the right things and doing and saying what they need to do to get what they want in a situation. I'm not suggesting they're manipulating you. Like, I don't think it's malicious in that way, but I do feel there's like an immaturity here. Okay, that's my impression. Let's look at you. Tell me about Virgo's energy. Okay, yeah. So you're very confused by this behavior. You're at a crossroads with that Two of Swords. my sense is you're seeing through the bullshit. Like your person might be a smooth talker with everybody else, but like you see through it, right? You see the issues. I think your head is probably telling you one thing, Virgo, and your heart is probably telling you another. Tell me more, please. Queen of Pentacles, okay, which is your energy, right? So I think you're just trying to find stability within yourself, and then you're hoping that will help clear up the confusion with how you're feeling, and then you can decide what you want to do. Tell me more. The Two of Cups. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, Two of Cups is a soulmate card. Maybe there is definitely part of you that's like, you know, could they be my soulmate? Could they be my person? Maybe you thought that at one point. Maybe you don't necessarily feel that way now. But this could also indicate that you're looking for partnership. You're looking for this, whether it's this person or someone better. I do think that you're looking for a serious committed relationship. So this week might be about you getting really honest in terms of, is this person not just saying that they're going to offer you something, but actually following through on the actions? Okay, so what could Virgo be feeling? The Death card, yeah. It's kind of funny to me, honestly, Virgo, because it almost feels like your person is maybe taking it for granted a little bit that the two of you are going to be just fine. You know, it's almost a little bit cocky, right? Like their energy is just like, well, I'm going to go in and I'm going to be with Virgo. And of course, Virgo is going to take me back and be with me because I'm so great. Like I'm getting a little bit of a cocky energy, and they're just kind of assuming they'll be able to kind of worm their way back into your life. But then with the Death card, this is about an ending, right? So it's like emotionally, I think you're very frustrated and you're like, would it be better to just, you know, not be with them and end this relationship versus like trying to invest in something that feels confusing to you with that Two of Swords? Tell me more. Okay, that's really good. Nine of Pentacles. You know what this is? You being self-sufficient and confident. Maybe you're kind of having a transformative moment this week with the Death card and the Nine of Pentacles where you're like, is this what I deserve? Do I like what's happening in this relationship? Does it make me feel good, right? Because sometimes I think what happens is that we spend so much time trying to figure out what the heck is going on with our person that sometimes we forget to turn the spotlight back on ourselves and be like, wait a second, do I feel good in this relationship? Do I feel happy? Because your person feels a little bit like their energy, like I said, it's immature, okay? I'm not saying they're a bad person. I'm sure they're a lovely person in many ways, but there's like a big issue that I see here with maturity. And I think your person is good at just kind of like, you know, dancing around issues, not addressing things head on, and then sometimes doing things that are kind of shitty, like making you feel like you're the one to blame. And I feel like this week, maybe you're waking up to that a bit more and being like, wait a second, when I think about what I want and what I deserve when it comes to love, is this meeting that requirement or is it not? Like, is this relationship meeting my standards or not? Tell me more about what Virgo could be feeling. The World. We're getting a lot of finality in your emotions with the Death card in the World, definitely indicating some sort of ending, some sort of cycle wrapping up. Could it be that this tough cycle between the two of you is wrapping up and you decide to stay together or be together? It could be, but it could also just be that you're fed up. Like I'm getting a little bit of an energy of you just being like, enough is enough. And what's coming to mind is, you know, when people say like the straw that broke the camel's back, that's what I'm getting in the vibe of your emotions. Like, I think you have put up with a lot with this person's immature behavior. And sometimes we put up with so much and we're so strong and we're so capable and we just deal with it and we're mature. And then it's just like, sometimes it's just the tiniest little thing. And it's like, that's it. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. And it might not even be a big thing. It might be something relatively small, but in the grand scheme of everything that is built up over time within the connection, it almost feels like you're reaching this point emotionally where you're like, I am done. Like I've been here for you. I've been mature. I've showed up for you. And I can't do it anymore. I'm getting like a sense of somebody just like being like emotionally that you took it too far. That was the last time. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. That's the vibe I'm getting. Let me know if that connects. What actions could Virgo be taking? The Hierophant. Yeah. I think you need to figure out what are you looking for in a commitment, in a partnership, in a future with somebody, and move towards that. Okay. Tell me more, please. The Three of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay. Three of Pentacles, a card of like working through issues, going to counseling. This is interesting, you guys. I mean, on the one hand, like, I'm honestly confused. I think the big thing I'm getting here is chaotic energy. Your person's energy felt chaotic. I gotta be honest, yours is feeling a bit all over the place as well. So maybe this is just a week where the connection between the two of you is in this very unstable place. But on the one hand, I feel that you are very fed up emotionally, but then we start to look at your actions and you're like, well, maybe we could work through the issues and we can get to a committed place. And I'm like, how are we getting there? Is that the attraction? Is that the chemistry pulling you back in? It's fascinating. Tell me more, please. And then the Nine of Cups. Okay. The Nine of Cups is the wishes coming true card, the dreams being fulfilled. Sometimes if you watch my channel, you know that sometimes I take issue with this card because it can be a little bit of like a fantasy type of energy. It's like giving into the dream, and it's interesting because I did talk about how your person might paint this picture on all these promises and stuff that they're gonna do. And maybe emotionally you're like, I'm so exhausted, I'm so overwhelmed. Maybe what happens is like, you're so overwhelmed and they kind of, like what I'm getting, it's specific, take it or leave it, is like they kind of wear you down so much and then it's easier for them to get back into your life. And you're like, yeah, okay, maybe all those dreams, all those promises, like, okay, that does sound good. I don't know why, like intuitively, there's just like some very interesting stuff that I'm feeling in this reading. And I guess what I'm seeing is that there's some issues here. That's not to say you can't work on them, but right now, I don't feel it's stable. It doesn't feel stable. It feels very confusing. And I think my sense for you is you're not yet sure what you want to do with this, and that's totally okay, right? I think part of you does feel drawn to this person. Part of you is extremely emotionally exhausted. But then there is something very seductive about a person coming in and saying all these things we want to hear, especially with someone that we have really crazy chemistry with. And it can definitely be easy to get pulled back into that, right? And to be like, you know what, maybe this time they will follow through. Maybe this time they will, you know, step up and do what they say, right? So I'm very curious to see what the potential outcome is here, because this is such a wild ride. What is the potential outcome here? Okay, you want to see what it is? Guys, all right, that's big. I think this honestly validates everything I've been saying where I'm like, there's something about this reading, guys. It's not sitting right with me. This card is like, yes, you're correct. This is not good. This is the Seven of Swords. This is the Thief of the Tarot. This is not a good card to show up in a love reading. And I feel like this is what has been underlying this whole reading where I'm like, something isn't right here. And then literally I pull the outcome and this is what we get. So let's break it down. Seven of Swords is the Thief of the Tarot. It can indicate a multitude of things potentially going on here, Virgo, okay? Seven of Swords is like somebody who could be lying or hiding things, lying by omission, whatever it is. I feel like there's something here about your person not being fully honest, which honestly we've talked about. I've already said like your person deflects. They don't seem to be comfortable with conflict. They don't seem to be comfortable with harder conversations. They live in a little bit of a fantasy land pretending everything's okay. So the real heart of the issue, the things that need to be talked about, they're not getting out there in the open. They're hidden. They're unresolved. They're like simmering below the surface of your relationship. The Seven of Swords, yeah, I mean, it could indicate that they're also hiding something that they don't want you to find out about for some of you, potentially. So it's like on the one hand, they're making you all these promises, but I feel like this outcome is saying there's more to the story than meets the eye, right? It's like, I think this card is just like cautioning you. And it goes back to what I said before, Virgo. Remember where I was like, okay, they might be saying things, but really, really watch their actions, because that's usually where things fall apart. If this person is saying things, but they're not being honest or not intending to follow through, their actions will show that, right? Like their actions will show you whether or not they're able to do the things that they promised you. This is unfortunately suggesting they're hiding things, not being honest, or like I said, making you promises that they don't really have any intention of following through on. This can also be an energy of self-sabotaging. So this could also indicate that your person is just sabotaging the connection. And honestly, they're probably doing that because we've seen such a lack of maturity. So that can sabotage a connection, like an inability to, I'm sorry, I keep harping on this, but an inability to take accountability, right? That's a really, I think this is like a very, very bad problem in any relationship, not just a romantic relationship, right? Like somebody who cannot take responsibility for their actions, that is an immature, problematic energy. And so your person may very well love you. You guys may have crazy chemistry. I think you probably do, but I almost feel like the chemistry in a way might be presenting a problem because it's like keeping both of you hooked in because of this intoxicating energy. But like bigger issues are not being dealt with. Your person does shit that like is not cool in your relationship. But like there's part of you that still wants to hold out hope, which is, we've all been there. Like, I feel like that's so normal. It's like you're in a shitty relationship, but like there's still part of you that's like, it could get better, right? I think we can all resonate with it. What I'm seeing here though, is that, you know, at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide what you want to do. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I don't know that anything is honestly going to get resolved this week. It kind of feels like there's going to be a push and a pull, and I think the energy feels all over the place. But I think the big takeaway from this reading is the Seven of Swords, where it's like, just be careful, right? Like that's the only message that I can leave you with is be careful, watch their words, watch their actions. This is suggesting that things might not go in the best direction. They could go sideways. And so I think you just need to keep evaluating, looking at the situation objectively and asking yourself, is this meeting my needs or is it not? I don't know that this week is going to necessarily bring a resolution, but it might present an opportunity for you to more clearly look at the dynamic between the two of you. But just keep in mind, like, even if your person is saying all these things, it might not be as it seems. And they could also be sabotaging and all this other messy stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't have like a clear outcome here. I feel like the heaviness after doing this reading, if I'm being honest, Virgo. So best of luck if you're dealing with this. Hopefully this has given you some things to think about. But yeah, I wish you guys the best. If you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated, do me a solid, give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And of course, I wish you so much love, so much happiness. I was gonna say heaviness. There's something about this reading where I'm like, I need to like go lie down. Like, I feel after doing this reading, just to kind of reflect it back to you, I'm like, oh, like I feel exhausted after doing this reading. And honestly, Virgo, I think that's what I was picking up on for you and your emotions, where I'm like, there's so much emotional heaviness. I just think you're exhausted. And that's where I think your person, like, they might know that, like, you get exhausted and then they come in and they're like, let's just be together. And you're like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, you're so exhausted that you're like, I can't even fight with you. And I just think that's the kind of heaviness that I'm picking up on. So if that's what you're feeling and experiencing, that might be your body trying to tell you something. I think it probably tells you something needs to change. And then the question becomes, can it change so that the two of you can be together? Or if it's not going to change, or if you don't feel good, like you might have to make a decision about how to move forward. Anyway, interesting energy this week. Definitely wishing you guys the best with this. Wishing you love, wishing you happiness, and we'll talk again very, very soon. Bye, guys.